Terry, this looks great. I'm really digging your anatomy skills. My question is, were you like an artist from before, even before you got into the 3D side of things? It's just that it does show that your eye is sort of trained to judge proportions, right? All right. So, anyways, regardless, this looks good. I'm gonna turn on F4. See the wireframe. So we're seeing, okay, so there's a couple of things here that I'm going to show you how to smoothen it out. If in case I haven't done this before. But you see that the legs, this sort of can be fixed. This should be more of a straight curved line as opposed to zigzag shape kind of thing. I don't know what to say, man. But so let me show you real quick a good easy way to fix this. Do we have a turbo smooth on? Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go to this side of the body. I guess we're gonna turn this back on, and also look the turbo smooth, and bring it to 2. And then now with the editable poly, we're going to go right to the very bottom. See this menu here, paint, deform. So as a little trick that I do when I get to this point, I start sort of relaxing the geometry. So here's a relax button. And right away you're going to see a brush on your model, but the brush is too big though. It's a 20, I guess, I don't know what that is, I think centimeters. So we're going to bring it to about 4.2, that looks good. And then the strength, see the line sticking through the brush? That's the strength. So the bigger that strength is, sorry, my bad. long night. The more it's going to affect. So I'm going to go down to like about 0.4. And I'm going to do it gently. So I really don't really see much of a difference. Oh, I see. Okay. Just got to keep clicking. That's what it is. And look at that. It's starting to strain this the way it should be, right? Now I can increase the strength in case that's a little bit too slow, right? I can do it a bit faster. The whole purpose of this is so that you don't get edges on a person, right? But your person has to look smooth, right? See, the back looks great, right? Basically, just fixing those lines makes the character a lot more smooth. Yeah, maybe not too much. Well, there we go, right? Because if the segments become too close to one another, then that's going to create a problem. So here, this part, you're going to have a bit of a hard time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to fix this, so this way, this won't be a problem later, right? So see how the geometry sort of flows in that way, and it's also angon. What I would do is I'm going to delete a few areas. So we're going to select this. and then all the way up to this point. Because this might be a little bit wrong, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to delete up to this point. Then I'm going to go ahead and select this. Sorry, I want to make sure that I'm looking at. There we go. So then I'm going to select that and delete it, right? Now there's this part that looks like an island now. So I'm going to select the element, delete the element, and there we go, right? Now I'm going to fix this because I think this should be straightened, right? Not angled that way. I see why you did it that way, and there's a better way to do this, of course. So using the vertices, right, just gonna move it like that, and then grab this one here too, move it just down a little bit further down, just making more room. And there it is. Now I'm going to select the edge, but the edge is going up. You see, it's going through the shoulder. So perhaps we don't want that. We're going to select this, and then double click, holding Control, double click, then Control click this up to this point, and then click this. Right. So now what happens is if you grab the scale tool, hold the shift key, I'm going to bring the scale, this right to the selections. Why is it there? Let me see. Right, so we need to increase. Oh, look at this. We gotta do it again. Yeah, I selected a bit too much. And try it again. I'm just wondering why it's going down. Yeah, that's the thing with 3D Max. I'll do it one more time. And there. Yeah, it's almost like it's selecting the wrong things altogether. So I'm gonna do one more time. You know, this is annoying. It just helps to careful doing this, that's all. Perfect. Now it should work. So I'm going to move it now. So it seems like I'm doing the missing those two right here. So let's make sure we select those two. I never really go through this process. I actually build it a little bit different for the chest. Let's see, okay. That makes sense, because okay, now we have it right. So once you have that selected, you can pull it out for now anyways, and grab the scale tool and try to strain this, right, by using like the z-axis or something, right? And then the y, or the x. And you'll see what I'm doing. This will become the area that's going to become the neck, right? The problem is that it gets more trickier when you have a lot of points. So that's something that we have to sort of avoid, right? You know what? I'm going to say keep it how you have it now, because you already got too far into it. But I'm going to show you real quick why I'm doing it this way on another model. So just keep an eye on what I'm doing. For the next model, not necessarily for this one, but for the next model, you may want to take a different approach, right? So let's say, for example, for the body, upper body, you'd start with a cylinder as opposed to a box. Just because if you're doing more a human than a cartoon, it probably makes some more sense to use a cylinder, right? So it's a cylinder, hit X. Not sure why I did it that way. So I'm going to do it one more time. Delete. And I'm just going to draw it right here. Now this is the front right here. So I'm going to just move it like that. Because remember the y-axis is back and forth for 3D Studio Max. Next, we're going to decrease some of the geometry areas. For example, we're going to go ahead and decrease the sides. We're going to go to 8 instead of 18. And then this is going to be like 2 or 3. We'll keep it 3. Right? So this is the front. I'm going to turn it into editable poly. Select the whole area like that. So then you get half, right? And then, of course, turn that editable poly off. and add a symmetry. The problem that I was getting with yours is that there's a lot of segments already, so it gets trickier. The more segments, the more tougher it's going to get to build the overall shape of the body, right? So now I have an open cylinder that's symmetrical. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just play around with this to change it to make it look like a body, right? Let's say we're doing a female, so let's say a female then, right? So I'm going to turn this off, right? And then this will be more for the chest. This will be the stomach. This will be more leading to the hips. And this is the top area where you're going to see the shoulders, right? Now, moving just those vertices, you can already see the back. So I'm going to just go ahead and move it in a bit. Right? Then the side, I'm going to see, grab this and move it just in a little bit. Right? So this starts to become more like a rib cage, right? Okay, this polygon here will be for the shoulder. But before we do that, I'm going to make a neck. So I'm going to double click that edge up here. And this is what I was trying to do, right? So hold control, or sorry, grab the scale tool and then just scale it a bit. And then with the move tool, just going to bring it like that. And look at that, you get the whole of the neck already set up, right? And you get also the geometry for the shoulders, right? So now I can go ahead and grab this, hold shift, pull that out, right? Now that looks a bit wrong. So I should have used this one instead to make the shoulders, right? Pull it out, there we go. And then the other rule is a very important rule. Try to work in arcs or curves, right? Now this is just a box, but we need to add more geometry in a minute. So this will be pretty much the upper body. I'm gonna go ahead and select faces or polygons in this case. Delete. There we go, right? So now what we got to do is go to the back, grab this edge, move it out a little bit just to make it more of a proper shoulder. And then you have to remember too that this is a human, so nobody has an area that goes this far out. So that means that we're gonna have to grab those vertices and move them in a bit. Right, and same thing with the back. And now we're going to adjust this. Right, so just bring it out more. Whoops. We're going to select it again. I'm just gonna keep adjusting this a little more and more to make it into like a figure, right? So this is, I guess, a female body. So I'm gonna just adjust this area a little bit, just so it's not so manly. And then, of course, I'm gonna start making the chest, right? So for the chest, I'm gonna need to do a couple of things. I'm gonna have to add loops. One right here, one right here, and then one right here. Remember what I said? Oh, one more. I need one more right here. The whole idea is to wreck the idea this guy is straight lines, right? Right now this looks like a box, not a shoulder. So we need to sculpt the shoulder a bit more into its shape. Just again, we're only doing the blocking of the shape. We're isolating, right? So you're making these corners into now curves. Same thing with this. This has to become out more. Same thing with this. Pull this out. And then move this up. In other words, you want to try to make it into like a sphere, almost, right? Then we got to do that in the other side as well. And remember, we only have very little amount of geometry. So that means that we'll be able to pull this up in no time, right? Right? A curve. We're trying to not finish this as a model that has straight lines, right? Another swift loop. And I think that's enough for now. Oh, maybe one more. I can see we need a middle one for the chest. Right, so we're going to add one right around here. But everything's all quads. That's the whole thing. And because of that, we will be able to pull this up a little bit easier, right? Now the chest, all it is this. We're going to go, oops. We're going to grab these two faces, too. And maybe this too. Now, we can do it right now, or we could, actually, yes, let's position this like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this more of like a rounded shape, right? Something that's close enough anyways, right? And then, see, looks more like a bra, right? Delete it, and then take the edges. And I wonder if we have that. No. Okay, so it's going to do it that way. So I'm going to select them individually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. Now I'm going to scale it to a point, right? Move it out. and then position them in a way that you think it makes more sense, right? So now we're going to use the Swift loop once more. But before we do, it's better to take care of this now than later. You know, make the shape first. This has to be more rounded, right? Okay, and then we're going to take this, and then we're going to start creating more of a shape. So now that we did that, we can then take those selected vertices, scale them, right, just a little bit, and then you can move it down as well, right? Right, so we're just trying to fix the chest a little bit. Now let's turn on the Turbo Smooth and see what it looks like so far. Turbo Smooth, right? So this obviously is the start of making this into a model. You know what's going on here? I'm not sure why it's doing that, but you can definitely fix that though. Yeah, we can sort of cut that. Let me see if I can grab the edge first. Detach. Right, so we split that, but now, yeah, that might be make it more complicated, so I'm going to keep it how it was for now anyways, right? Yeah. Right, but you get the idea, and then you just got to close this, and you can actually end up with triangles at this point, right? So in other words, you can use a smooth tool, or sorry, scale tool, hold shift, and then just pull this out, right? And then of course we're gonna weld that. There we go. Right? So again, it's a matter now of just manipulating the vertices to give it a better form, right? Because right now we're just building it, so it's not supposed to look super realistic at first, right? So now for the neckline, we can definitely create the loops, going across, right? And we can start sort of warping this into what it should be, right? So let me show you what I mean. If we want to create a neck now, all you have to do now is hold shift and that's it, right? now we're going to go ahead and start fixing this area more to what it should look like as well. Look at the back, it looks pointy, right? So I'm going to grab that and this. Oops. And start bringing it down, right? So I'm not gonna do any further, but that's just to show you like how I would start building this and then start to shape this character a little bit better, right? So I'm gonna go to the Turbo Smooth, Isoline Display, back to Edit Poly, right? And you see you're keeping everything very organized, and the topology here works well, right? So think about it anyways, right? If you want to try to redo that part, then that's, you know, you're more than welcome, right? I know it could be a lot of work to do it again from the beginning, but at least, you know, you'll see another way to approach this, because it didn't take me that long to get to this point, right? And even then still, we can still manipulate. I don't know what this line is there. It's very curious as to what create that line, right? Because it goes right here. Let me see. Oh, I see. For some reason that split it, right? I have no idea why it's like that, but just weld it. And plus, I might have done something that it created that look. To be perfectly honest, right, so there we go, right? So yeah, so pretty much can cancel this, and now you can use the polygons to start making better shape for, like, just for the breast, also for the back. Right, we've got to smoothen the top even more. Right, so this here, it might be too wide. So what I do is normally I grab these two vertices and start adjusting it more like this. Yeah, you get the idea, right? Right. So anyways, yeah, and then we're gonna fix the vertices here. Right. To help sort of define the chest. Right, the rib cage. And if we need to make another loop here, we can. And then grab the scale tool and scale those ones right there too, right? Okay, so yeah, so that's pretty much it in terms of cleaning the shoulder area, right? So now you have the vertices that are going to give you the rib cage. So see this line right here? This can be part of the rib cage now, right? Maybe move the one right next to it, right? Right, and then the angle of the neck, everything is pretty good. But you can actually change it around. If it's too far out, you can then just move it back a little bit, right, like that. Right, so it's easy because it's very minimal in terms of geometry. Right now, this is too close to one another, so I would just warp it a little bit more like that, right? Turn this into stomach, right? And then the bottom here, I'm just going to rotate it. Something like that, right? Alright, so that's it, man. I know I've been seeing that for a while now, but that's again something to think about, right? Okay, so I'll see you around, and if not, I'll see you at the next assignment. Alright, see you then.